Mercury, the planetary messenger, enters Libra September 18th at 3:05 a.m. Pacific time. Adjust for your time zone accordingly. Hello, I'm Eliane-Nicole, your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video I'm going to talk about what it means when the planet that rules our communications and our conversations and our documents and our travel itineraries and our scheduling is moving through the sign of Libra, who rules diplomacy and justice and beauty and art. But before I get to the translation, I just want to say, if you are watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Please hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. Please like, please comment, please share. It helps me in the algorithm and to grow my business and my community. And it puts me in a position to continue to give these free astrological offerings. I'm also trying to grow my client base, so it would be very helpful to that end if you would share my channel with friends, coworkers, neighbors, people you know who are into astrology. I read on Zoom, so I can read for people anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. I would love to read for you. Everyone should have their birth chart done at least once in their lives. It's a fascinating experience, and I believe that people should continue to work with their charts regularly over time. But now, without further ado, I am going to get into the translation of Mercury moving into Libra. And Mercury is an important planet to track. I notice sometimes my Mercury videos don't get as many views as my other videos, but communication is everything. You know, the words that we use actually create our reality. You know, the words in the language of a culture shape the way that that culture thinks and experiences each other in the world. And so words are very important, and Mercury rules our words, our thoughts, and, you know, just how we think, how we speak, how we listen, how we learn. But he also has to do with contract negotiations, and he has to do with deliveries and mail, and he has to do with merchants and trade. So Mercury is who we follow to pay attention to the tariff situation in the collective. But he also has to do with the media and journalism. So Mercury is who we follow to see kind of what's going on, what the big stories in the press are for any given period, you know? And so Mercury moving into Libra is a distinctly different vibe than Mercury being in Virgo. You know, Mercury in Virgo was at home, so you know, it had to do with very clear thinking and sharp, efficient mind, but it was also very critical and very analytical. And because of the aspects he was making to the planets and Saturn and Gemini, it was kind of an argumentative Mercury in Virgo. But Mercury moving into Libra from September 18th to October 6th, this Mercury wants to harmonize. This Mercury wants to create diplomacy and wants to negotiate and compromise and make everybody happy in the situation, you know? The theme song for this Mercury is "Why Can't We Be Friends," you know? And so it's kind of like, you know, Mercury, the planet of intellect, in the sign that has to do with beauty and art and you know, books and you know, style and design. We will be finding ourselves, the collective conversation will be more on this, and we will be finding that these are the more of the conversations that we're engaging in. This is what we're thinking about. This is what we're talking about when Mercury is in Libra. And, you know, Mercury in Libra is a beautiful voice. You know, Mercury in Libra can be a singer, but even somebody who has a beautiful voice because they do a podcast and you love the way that they sound. You know, Libra voice is usually more of a deep, sultry voice. And yeah, Mercury, if you have Mercury in Libra, you'll be having a Mercury return. Mercury is only going to be in Libra for 2.5 quick weeks. And I want to talk about some of the aspects he's making. And follow me on TikTok, because I just started my TikTok at the Pisces lunar eclipse, and I'm doing the daily transits as they happen, like posting them like the day before or the same day. But it's a look at all the aspects, bringing them all together, like the moon and whatever planetary aspects are happening. Whereas here on YouTube, I'm doing longer form videos, taking the planets apart one at a time as they enter and looking way ahead at the transits. So here on YouTube, you get a further look ahead at the transits. On TikTok, you get the daily look as they're happening in shorter form content. So definitely follow me there. I'll put that link in the description notes. But yeah, so I want to look at these aspects. So yes, the exciting news, right as Mercury enters Libra, he's immediately interacting with the 3 outer planets, who are all in a mini trine together, very much reflecting the new world, you know, this era that we really officially, well, we've already started it, but we're in a period right now of having to go back towards some unfinished business, because all of these planets are retrograde. Saturn has just moved back into Pisces. And so, you know, these next few months, there is some unfinished business in the old world. And yet this trine of these 3 outer planets, Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius, and Neptune and Aries, they're all retrograde, but they're all in the signs that reflect the new world. Their retrograde motion is what's telling us we have unfinished business before we're really ready to start officially. But the fact that Mercury is plugging in as soon as he enters in Libra, there's a lot of information here, in particularly this first day, September 18th, but really the whole transit of Libra, because of Mercury through Libra, is giving us a lot of information about, you know, where our life is moving in the future. And particularly on the 18th, as Mercury enters, well, he immediately opposes Neptune. So this can create some mental confusion. This can create confusion in information, documents, data, details. At worst, this can be deception or lies. Yeah, so that's at 3 p.m. on the 18th. Then at 9:52 p.m. on the 18th, Mercury will be trine Uranus and Gemini. Now, this is inventive thinking. This is brilliant ideas. This is original thoughts. This is uplifting conversations and social interactions about, you know, beautiful, lofty, high vibrational topics like art and beauty and justice and style and design and pleasure and attraction. And Mercury is forming a grand trine with Pluto and Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini. And so this is futuristic thinking at its best. This is like visionary, and it is smart. It's looking at things from the bird's eye view and able to see the full blueprint and really see the full vision with clarity. And in general, this is just elevating the vibration and kind of almost like moving up to a higher frequency, being elevated to a higher frequency of thinking, of social interactions, of just everything like that. And it's pretty cool. And there is a deep and subtle transformation that is imperceptibly taking place through these ideas that are forming, these conversations that are being had, the social interactions that are happening. So yeah. And then on September 19th, Mercury in Libra is forming a sextile to Vesta in Sagittarius. And this is this is giving us the ability to speak about, communicate about what we believe in, what is sacred to us, what we are devoted to, with beautiful words, with like harmonizing beautiful words, or, you know, singing it in a beautiful voice, or saying it with beautiful words, speaking it with beautiful words, or writing it with beautiful words. And so that is Vesta, the high priestess goddess. And yes, Mercury is in conversation with the goddess very much during this Libra journey, because he's talking to Vesta, Pallas Athene, and then Ceres. So then on September 22nd, Mercury in Libra is forming a trine with Pallas Athene retrograde in Aquarius. And this is really great for strategizing. And it's kind of like through reflecting on maybe the past and how your strategy needs to be fine-tuned before moving forward. And again, this is very clear thinking, being able to look at things from the bird's eye view, and also looking at things from a perspective of how do we make things more balanced, how do we make things more equal in going forward. And then on September 24th, Mercury in Libra will be opposing Ceres retrograde in Aries. And so this can bring up arguments with parents or around parenting, you know, opposing views on parenting, around parenting. Sometimes this can bring up issues of custody. This can bring up issues of kidnapping. This can bring up issues of rejection or abandonment from parents, neglect. But it could just also just be around the topic of parenting, which also includes self-parenting, you know. And yeah, that's on the 24th at 11 degrees. And then on October 1st, Mercury will be squaring Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Cancer, exalted. Mercury is in Libra. And this is definitely a big conversation that has, you know, potential for conflict. But it's weird because it's like somebody is trying to harmonize and make things better, but it's, for some reason, it's going the wrong way. And it can be a big outburst of emotions that comes from, you know, and sometimes this involves like white lies or people pleasing, or, you know, it could be around family situations where there's an imbalance or inequality. Something's not fair. It could be around mothers or even motherhood, or just, you know, feelings, emotions, safety, security, privacy, any of these issues. But yeah, and follow me on TikTok, because I'll be revisiting this transit as it's happening with more details to help you understand it. And that's the last aspect Mercury's making before he's leaving. I'm not going to take it through the 12 rising signs because those videos end up being too long. And but if you put your rising sign in the comments, I will tell you which house Mercury is moving through Libra in your chart, and a little bit about what that story might look like for you because of the aspects that are being made. So thank you for joining me. Definitely contact me for a reading. I will put that link in the description. Follow me on TikTok. I will put that link in the description. If you would like to make a donation to the channel to help me keep it going, please do so by donating to my Venmo. I will also put that link into the description. I will put other videos to watch for context. And in conclusion, life is lifing, the world is worlding. Stay heavily meditated, my friends.